Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. David Ajibade with the Brain and Body Foundation, and this is Your Health in Your Hands. We're going to continue our talk on addressing COVID 19, the coronavirus that is taking the world by storm in Nigeria, specifically from a Nigerian perspective. Now, you've probably watched TV, you've seen a lot of the discussions. Of course, the Minister of Health, the DG of NCDC, and everyone is coming to talk to you about what you should be doing. And of course, you have to take very particular attention to what they're saying. Wash your hands, cover a mask whenever you can. Don't congregate or don't be involved in large crowds. If you feel that you have some of the symptoms and you suspect it, you want to report yourself, all for the sake of the common good. So that is very important. We want to talk about the virus itself, but also from a more personal perspective, what you can do to sort of build a wall of defense around yourself and your family. Because in the final analysis, it is you as an individual, what your strength, your ability ability of your body and the immune cells to defend and ward off any attacks. And we want to be able to strengthen that ability. So with me on the show, on the studio today, is someone you probably have seen before, a very special guest, Dr. John Tor Agbuye.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dev. It is nice to be with you once again.
Thank you for making the time again. And Dr. John is an integrative medicine practitioner, and he is the founder and director of the In-Country Medicare Limited,
yes.
Based here in Abuja, and he does a lot of fantastic things in the area of integrative medicine. So you would want to pay attention to what he has to say. Of course, his number's on the screen as well, so you can always contact him after the show. All right, sir. This is a serious condition, isn't it?
Certainly, yes.
We've heard of other cases like the SARS virus and the SARS virus, all coming from Asia, that have pretty much taken the world by storm. But this is different.
Sure, it is. It is.
It's more aggressive. It's more worldwide.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it is not as fatal as the others like the Ebola and the SARS, where the rate is like still about 1%, 2%.
Yeah.
But it is still something that we have to be concerned about. I mean, all you have to do is ask Italy, Spain, and Iran. I mean, pretty much everywhere is those places are on lockdown. So what can we tell our folks about the virus and something that they need to understand?
Yeah, the name coronavirus is actually a group of viruses, and within the group there is a particular type or strain. That's what we call COVID-19. So it's just one of the family members, and the COVID-19 is actually a new strain. And that can possibly explain why it is very virulent, that it is spreading, easily. And also it has its own characteristics. And mainly among this is that it is RNA virus, that is enveloped virus, single. What this means is that it is easily destroyed, or it cannot stand environmental challenges. And what do I mean by environmental challenges? But specifically heat. It is heat sensitive. The virus is inactivated with heat. Take, for example, temperatures of about 55 to 65 degrees centigrade would easily inactivate or deactivate, the virus.
Could that be one reason why Africans are not getting it as much? Because I mean, it is rather hot in Abuja. At least I can say that for sure.
It is a possible factor.
Okay.
Even globally is being anticipated, especially in the temperate world, that when summer sets in, they're anticipating that the rate of infection will be go down, because the virus cannot survive under rain, under heat. During summer is when the other part of the world has, summer.
But then again, the counter argument is that Iran is a very hot country itself and is doing pretty well in Iran in spite of the heat. So maybe there are other factors involved. Maybe they are staying indoors. Maybe they have AC everywhere they go or something.
Certainly, you're very right. And with indoors that you just mentioned, it has a lot to do with the level of our immune system. Remember, I'm going to elaborate more on this later. Any disease at all, you are protected from it because of your immune system, the immune response. But when you stay indoors, there is limited the amount of, the sunshine you get, and vitamin D is very critical factor in boosting and enhancing our immune production.
Vitamin D, let me quickly jump in there because I'm always get excited when someone talks about vitamin D, and they already tell us we don't have enough time. But vitamin D, what they found out is that during the flu season in the US and the UK or the Europe, they find out that the flu season is people get a lot of more flu during the winter time when there isn't much sun and everybody's staying indoors, like you said. And they've traced that to some degree. That's not all the reason, but to some degree they've traced it right back to lower levels of vitamin D.
Yes.
Which depresses their immune system and makes them more susceptible to the flu virus, and that's why it is at a higher rate during the winter seasons than during the summer seasons. So that's a really good point. Like I said, I really get excited when we talk about vitamin D. All right, we have one more minute just to wrap up before we really go into the immune system in the next segment.
Well, just like I said, some of these environmental factors is, for example, the virus cannot survive under acidic, environment. That's why we're encouraged, as one of the preventive measures is to take water so that you push the virus down to the stomach. The pH of the stomach is about 3 to 3 to 6. Once the virus gets there, it is
destroyed.
Destroyed.
But the virus goes to the lungs, doesn't it? So
first, the lungs is what you call, every virus or any bacteria has what we call the pre-deletion site. Those are the areas where the receptors are there for it to attach to. Once it attaches to those receptors, especially in case of COVID-19, most of the receptors are in the upper and lower, respiratory tract, like the larynx, the pharynx, and the lungs. That's why you have it mostly having its effect on the lungs.
Okay, all right. We'll be right back, and then we shall continue with our discussion. All right, welcome back. All right, Doc. Yes, you've explained that it has a predilection for the lungs. But so the question again is why, of what use is drinking water if the virus is going straight to the lungs? Why do we have to drink, why would water help?
Yeah, remember the connection. You have the GIT, we have to call the upper GIT, which actually starts from the mouth. And since it is, the upper GIT too has pre-deletion site for the virus. So if the virus happen to go in the mouth and it is really hanging in there, that there is no direct link between the mouth and then the lungs per se, but through the upper respiratory tract, through breathing, through contact. That's why we're advised not to be touching our noses always.
So you're saying that the virus stays in the pharynx, in the mouth region, for how long?
For about 4 hours. So if you take water, then the water pushes or forces the lungs. Forces the virus to go down into the stomach, and it is destroyed there
by the stomach acid.
By the stomach acid.
All right, so there you have it for our folks. The first tip is you have to drink plenty of water.
Actually, you're advised to take 2 to 3 liters of water every day.
Oh, really? Yes. 2 to 3. Okay, fantastic, fantastic. So it's very important that people know that.
Yes.
All right. What else do we know about the virus that people should know? Yes. Another thing is, and again, this bears with the immune system, about the kinds of people who most likely have the more severe form of the infection and who are most likely to die from it. And you mentioned something about people with a reduced immunity.
Immunologically compromised.
Immunologically compromised. Yeah. So who are the people that fall into that category?
Well, epidemiologically, it has been shown that it is usually the age, the people that live above 60, especially in the civilized world.
So that you and I are exempt then.
Yeah, well, I mean the truth. And on a more serious note, when in this age group, you see that the activities are actually reduced. In general, the immune status is actually compromised. And but in younger people who are very active, and especially living the right lifestyle, the immune system is actually upregulated. That is mean that the immune system is, enhanced.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So the elderly people, who else again? Generally tend to be immune compromised. I would think that it's people with chronic diseases.
Sick. Thank you. Chronic. Things like diabetes, things like hypertension,
right.
Things like even cancer,
even
obese.
Obese, that's right. Yes. So the overweight,
overweight,
as a rule, tend to have less because their bodies are struggling with so many other things. Yeah. Their immune systems are less capable. Right. And you mentioned cancer, which is a very important aspect because it's not just the cancer, the disease itself, but actually the chemotherapy. Yeah. If you are on chemotherapy, by definition, your immune system is compromised.
Correct.
Right?
Correct, yeah. Because the chemotherapy kills both the normal cells and the cancer cells, and the normal cells including the immune cells.
The white blood cells and the immune cells. So you are at risk. So therefore you have to take extra special attention. As I'm saying this, I think about my friend who sent me a text. She's in her late 70s. She's being treated for cancer, and in her family, she lives with the kids and grandkids, and they had a severe flu that ran through the entire family. But because I kept on hammering on it, I said, make sure you take tons of vitamin D, tons of vitamin C, zinc, and other nutrients. That's right. Everybody had this flu. She didn't.
That's correct.
And so she was basically sending me a message this morning, as a matter of fact, as we were talking. This morning, she was sending a message to thank me for not just advising her, but for commanding her. Because sometimes you really have to lay the law down and really be very, very firm with some people, especially your parents or your grandparents, who tend to not take things as seriously as they should. So it's very, very important.
Yeah, Dr. Dave, by the way, talking about vitamin C, countries like China and Taiwan and others have actually adopted a protocol using vitamin C for management or treatment of the disease. Not only does it treat the disease by boosting the immune system, it also prevents you from getting. For example, it is recommended that you should take up to 6 grams of vitamin C in divided doses daily. Really? You should do this. And don't get me wrong, when you talk about immune system, I don't mean that you just take it for 1 or 2 days and then expect your immune system to be robust. No, you have to take it for a while. It has to be your lifestyle. About 6 grams of vitamin C daily. And that reminds me of the fact that in other parts of the world now, vitamin C has gone out of stock.
That is true.
Oh, yeah.
That is true. We're talking about this too. I mean, we order these things in from time to time.
Yeah.
And so I asked my staff to check on and to see, okay, what's the price of vitamin C? And he checked again, and he's like, it's out of stock.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, toilet paper is out of stock. Amazon is not even selling toilet paper. No, I mean, what in the world is going on? Yeah. So again, we're not talking about, this is what you have to start knowing about in order to strengthen your immune system. Yes, it is not standard practice, let's put it that way, to treat coronavirus using vitamin C. But let's face it, folks, if you suspect the virus and you're in where, I don't want to call any specific names, but I'll just go ahead and call it anyway, maybe somewhere in, I don't know, in the Bakassi Peninsula or the Zambeza Forest, and you don't have access to a good doctor or a good hospital. These are things that we're pointing to that you can, if you can go to the general pharmacy, you can get vitamin C in a general pharmacy. You should be able to get vitamin D in a general pharmacy. We're going to be talking about other foods that you should buy at the market, that you should be taking, because, folks, you don't want to wait until you have or suspect the infection before you start boosting your immune system. You should start now where you are to start building a wall of defense. I personally have increased my vitamin D levels. I've increased my vitamin C levels. In one of my last talks, I talked about nano silver, which we'll be talking about later. I've had to get them in, and I'm going to be using that, especially when I'm traveling. I'm going to be spraying the heck out of my nostrils and my throat while I'm on the plane, so that I'm constantly protected from these things. And that's the attitude you should have as well. We'll be right back. Welcome back. All right, there's so much to talk about, but we can't end this episode without talking about foods to eat, foods to avoid in order to strengthen and build your immune system. Doc.
Yeah, let me start off with a statement that, I've already told you the importance of our immune system in disease prevention and even disease treatment. Nutrition drives our immune system. So I cannot overemphasize on that. So adequate nutrition. Remember, you used to talk about balanced diet and all this. These days they talk about adequate, diet. It's really very important. And practically, what are the things that you would eat that will really boost your immune system or your diet or your nutritional, level? Especially the greens. Things like, cucumber, things like ugu, and things like carrots, and then the rest of them. Any greens at all that is eatable is really very good, and especially the one that is organically grown. Thank God, in our own climes here, we've now started using a lot of the GMOs and things like that.
Yeah.
So I think on this point, each family should be encouraged, if possible, to have a backyard, garden where you grow some of these things. That will be very, very good for you.
Garlic
is very good. Turmeric is very good. Ginger is very good. Pow is, very good.
Pow.
Yes.
Is that pawpaw?
Pawpaw.
Okay.
Yeah. Depending on which side of the Atlantic you are actually educated, whether in Britain or in the States. Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
So those are really very important. And then also let me emphasize on the type of oil, cooking oil that you use. It drives your own immune system. Refined oils, we all are getting to know this, are really not good for our own health. What oil should we use? Well, if I talk about virgin coconut oil, I talk about virgin olive oil, you say those ones are very expensive. The common man may not afford them. But please go for our red palm oil. The one that is naturally, produced. Just before we came, I was just telling you, you can even take it raw. Take, for example, when we prescribe palm oil to our patients, we ask them to take 2 tablespoons 3 times a day. That is enough for you to have enough vitamin A and selenium. You don't need to buy this. Once you take this like this, and vitamin E.
And by the way, vitamin A, let's quickly talk about that. Vitamin A is one of the key vitamins to help to strengthen and protect that mucosal layer. Yeah. Especially the ones lining the epithelium of the trachea, the bronchi, and the lungs.
That's right.
So you absolutely should consider, in addition to D and C and selenium, like he's just said, you want to add vitamin A. And a good way to combine those is cod liver oil. A good quality cod liver oil supplement. In fact, I've been shocked at how it has even been helpful, even for cases of brain disorders. When we added cod liver oil to our regimen, we found some good improvements. So surprising improvement in some cases. So adds vitamin A. Cod liver oil has vitamin A and vitamin D and a few other things that will help to protect and to heal the lining. Now, this is so important. The immune system may not completely protect you, even if it's strong, from a virus. But the other thing that it does is that if you do get the infection, it shortens the length and the period of that disease, it shortens your recovery period and helps you get out of it more completely. And folks, they're telling us our time is up. But we do want to, before we end the show, we want to say that the thing about fear, everybody's afraid and there's a lot of panic. That can even cause the problem more. Education, enlightenment can make a difference where fear is concerned. And that's what we're trying to do with your health in your hands and our special guests like Dr. John over here, because we care about you. We care about providing you with those tools that you need so that you don't have to be afraid, you don't have to panic when it comes to the coronavirus. This too shall come to pass.
With time, we're going to continue with this exercise, and I want to commend you for the wonderful job that you are doing.
Oh, thank you very much.
Bless you.
I appreciate that. All right, folks, stay safe and do the right thing. Be smart. See you next week, and God bless.